What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another professional Dota 2 commentary brought to you by yours truly, B-Ballin. And I did promise you some Starladder LAN games, but there are a lot of LAN coverage, or there's a lot of coverage of that LAN tournament already, casted by Purge, Toby, Sheever, and a bunch of other casters. And I decided to bring you some other games from a different tournament. This is from the ItsGosu Monthly Madness. Shoutouts to AC and Draskell for putting on this monthly Madness tournament. And of course, if you want to buy a pass, you can get that for I think $2 in the Dota 2 store. But anyway, just to introduce the teams, we have TongFu on the Radiant side and Mith-Trust on the Dire side. And with me is a very special co-commentator. What's up, man?
Hey guys, I'm Shred Kid. Some of you might have seen me around. I'm really excited to get into casting. This is going to be my first cast with B-Ballin and first cast in general. And I'm a huge fan of Asian Dota, so I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, definitely. So we have sort of a tale of two teams. We have TongFu up on the Radiant side. They've been 2-2 since the International 2 qualifiers, and they went with a really, really interesting lineup. They have very, very powerful chases, much as we saw towards the end of Chinese Dota 1 before the replay stopped getting released. Chaos Knight, Panda, Venomancer, Gondar, all extremely strong chases, and of course Xiaodun. But one of the main problems in TongFu lineup is that they do not have many stuns. They cannot really hold people in place. They have the Shao Fiend Disruption. They have a lot of chasing, but the Panda Ultimate, of course, brings in 2 stuns, and Chaos Knight with the Chaos Bolt. So it might be easier to sort of escape once all the other spells are on cooldown. But meanwhile, Mith-Trust has a completely different lineup. Mith-Trust 0-3, so want to talk about them?
Yeah, well, we're seeing that they're going for something completely different, where we see a complete lack of AoE on Tongfu's side. On Mith-Trust, we see the SK Leshrac, which is a favorite of everybody. Pubs love it, pros love it, it works, it deals a lot of damage, and it gives initiation. So they've got some AoE going on there. Rubik has a little bit of AoE, not a lot, but the point is they should have better team fight, aside from the Panda's ultimate. And they should, I think, have stronger laning. They can be a little more aggressive in their lanes, aside from the CK lane. And all in all, I think it's a fairly even BP, so yeah.
Yeah, of course, one of the problems with Bear in the Asian scene is that it does take a while to get going, and meanwhile, TongFu have a very aggressive lineup, so expect them to be all over Mith-Trust from the outset. And it's going to be up to Mith-Trust to start protecting that Bear if he doesn't get enough farm, otherwise otherwise they'll be in for a world of hurt. And there's a reason why we don't see Mirana as much anymore, because she does not scale very early on, she's not very strong against pushes. She's okay against chasers, I guess, but still, against this very aggressive TongFu lineup, it'll be pretty difficult to stop them. So, ready to unpause?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, on pause. So just introducing the players and the teams as we have a pause. Awesome. So we have TNK playing the Sand King, LK playing the Mirana, Aba playing the Rubik, Uno Hu playing the Leshrac, and THZ, or T-Ta, playing the Lone Druid. I want to go over the Tongfu players?
Sure. So on the Tongfu side, we have the Captain of Woke is playing on the support Venomancer. Mu is playing Panda and Brewmaster. Hao is on Chaos Knight. Kabu is on the Shadow Demon. And Sancheng is playing the Bounty Hunter. And I'm a huge fan of Sancheng. He's one of my favorite players, so I'm excited to watch him play.
Yeah, it's really awesome to see how much, the knock on Chinese Dota in general, this was 2 or 3 years ago, was that they were very oriented on farm. But we saw in WDC last year in SMM, they just really went for an all-out chasing up. It's really been working out for them. But unfortunately, it's been a little bit more difficult to make this work in Dota 2 just because of the power of pushing. But as teams start gearing up for the international, TongFu, of course, qualified in the East, and Mith-Trust unfortunately did not make it out, so they will not return to the international 2. They got, I think they got 7th place last year?
I was in the middle. I don't remember exactly where, but...
Yep, looks like there might be a little bit of engagement. Awoke approaching very dangerously close. Only 3 heroes on the Dire lane. Will Awoke cast anything? No, it looks like he's just going to back away. And Myth just playing this very, very smartly. And they're going to get to their lane. So Rook's going to be soloing mid. We're going to have a tri-lane of Sand King, Mirana, and Leshrac. A very, very powerful tri-lane. But if you've watched any of my other commentaries, then you know that my thoughts on Sand King and tri-lane are not really the most favorable.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Russian teams like using him in tri-lanes, and they might have an aggressive lane with a Leshrac and something else, but for the most part, he's not a great tri-laner. We see the teams kind of flirting with each other, positioning around. Oh, it looks like, we're going to get an engage. Shadow Demon disrupts. It looks like Venomancer Slow is going to come out. Leshrac stun comes out. Potom follows up. SK goes in. Potom arrow flies out on SD, and it looks like we might get first blood, but CK is going on Leshrac. First blood goes to Mirana. And CK is retreating now. He's surrounded. SK stun goes on Venomancer, Leshrac stun follows, and we're gonna get two really kills fast for Mith-Trust.
Wow, that was insane play by Mith-Trust regaining their composure. Did you see that Leshrac initial split earth hit 3 people and then the Sand follow-up hit 3 people as well? Really incredible play. And meanwhile, Bounty Hunter should be able to survive just fine against this Lone Druid, but should not be able to out-harass him. But unlike other heroes, he can sort of bypass. But a nice job by picking up an early Sentry Ward. So already TongFu in a bit of a disadvantage. And TongFu, they've been looking a little bit shaky since the International 2 qualifiers. They are 2-2. They've lost to a couple teams, but Mith-Trust in the Pro Dota 2 League, which have been the last matches since the International 2 qualifiers, they're 0-3, losing to teams like MEFC, DK, and IG. But overall, Panda vs Rubik, this should be a pretty even lane. Lone Druid and Gondar should be in favor of the Lone Druid as long as he keeps up Sentry Ward. So it's really going to come down to this trial. And so who do you think has the advantage?
Honestly, I think that Mith-Trust is the stronger tri-lane simply because they have more killing power. CK obviously is able to stun. Shadow Demon has a disrupt for the setup, and Venom's got the slow. But I think that TongFu just doesn't have the damage to quickly bring somebody down. Whereas Mith-Trust with one SK stun into Leshrac stun into Split Earth into Arrow can pretty much burst someone down instantly.
Hey man, if he gets 3-man splitters and 3-man burrow strikes every time, this tri-lane is going to be a big trouble for Mith-Trust, as Mirana's going to approach a bit dangerously. Mirana 4-2, so of course CS doesn't mean too much. But after getting that first blood, Mith-Trust should be a bit happy. And as long as they can keep their silhouette protected, they should have a relatively simple time in the late game. But of course, TongFu all about that mid game as an arrow flies out, it lands squarely on Kabu, clearly not expecting that. Chain stun following up by Sand King. Split Earth, and looks like Sand King did pick up the kill on Kabu. Venomancer comes back in with the Venomous Scale, and will the Leshrac manage to land another Split Earth? It is just cooling down. Can he land it? Yes, he will. It lands on Awoke. Sand King does not have enough mana to follow up for a Burrow Strike, so Venomancer might be able to escape a couple more hits. We'll be able to clean up the Venomancer. Looks like Sand King is approaching that mana level, but Awoke just dies to the bottom arrow, so this tri-lane by Mith-Trust already working out splendidly. So nice job by Mith-Trust so far.
Yeah, and we see Potom going for the traditional, when you tri-lane Potom, a lot of times people like to put 2 points in the arrow, simply because you're not going to really get the levels up to get fast enough to use your Starstorm. So that extra points in the arrow is going to be really helpful. And at this point, I really think that the tri-lane has been decided in favor of Mith-Trust. I don't really know if TongFu can come back and win this lane at this point.
Yeah, and this is definitely what you need when you have a Sand King in a tri-lane. Of course, I always harp on the fact, I'm sure I sound like a broken record, oh, Sand King in a tri-lane, not useful, doesn't get enough experience, doesn't get a fast Blink Dagger, his ultimate doesn't scale very well, but if he gets a lot of experience from this tri-lane, and of course the other heroes level up around him, he should be pretty effective. Meanwhile, CK is just one of those heroes who's just not been very successful in either Dota 1 or in Dota 2 ever since he's been released. So it'll be interesting to see how TongFu decides to go about with the CK. Will they just farm him up before going for ganking, or will they decide to run with him earlier just to secure themselves some other lanes? As looks like Myth are getting into position. Will we see a Burrow Strike? No, we will not.
Yeah, and at this point, TongFu is just playing a lot more back. Like, CK is not even trying to go up to last hit. That's simply because they know that Myth have wards out. They know that arrow can come at any time. Oh, and SK stun goes into the Leshrac stun, into the arrow, and there's nothing you can do about that. Once the SK stun initiates, you get the 2 not as reliable stuns to become reliable, and it's going to be a kill.
And of course, that Mirana arrow just landing, doing so much damage so early on. Acerun picking up by a bot on the mid lane. TongFu Mu might be in a little trouble, only level 4. Meanwhile, Rubik is level 5, and he's doing a nice job kiting Mu around, but Mu is cooling down on the Thunderclap, so he might be able to get in position for one more hit. Abba managed to pick up the last hit with the Fade Bolt before Mu could get out a second Thunderclap, so Mith-Trust just looking very, very dominant so far. Really taking it to TongFu. This was not what TongFu was expecting. Mith-Trust has not been looking very, very dominant recently. They've been playing Dota 2, they played in the they've been playing Dota 1, they played in the Dota D Sports tournament as well, but right now they're showing, hey, we know how to play Dota 2. TongFu, you better watch out.
Yeah, and it looks like TongFu is not winning on the top lane either. Sansheng only has 10 last hits, whereas THA, I believe it is, has 27. So
wow.
Really, they're losing all their lanes at this point. They're going to need to make something happen in the mid game if they want to come back.
And yeah, this is the problem of tri-lane sometimes. When your tri-lane gets down, it's hard to sort of get back into favor. Venomancer level 2, meanwhile Shadow Demon struggling as well. Wards being placed all over the jungle just to see if there are any ganks. So right now, it looks like Myth are just content to lane as long as possible because, like you said, they have the better lane phase as an Entangle goes on Sansheng, but the bear did morph into his true form, so he can't follow up with any range attacks. I guess Sansheng did a nice job in terms of harassing him down. Meanwhile, Priestess Moon, 0 mana, but right now, Mith-Trust is just looking A-okay. Panda's been hurt down quite a bit, and Rubik just constantly spamming that Fade Bolt, making it so much more difficult for Panda to last hit without using his clap. So
Yeah, and something that's actually going to be pretty important in bottom lane is the fact that Potom got phase boots up. Some people like tread, some like phase boots, but in a tri-lane situation where you're going to be actively going after people and trying to kill them, the phase boots are going to let you position yourself better for an extra, 2 or 3 attacks maybe, which is going to be really crucial early. And I think that this choice of item for the early game is a really good decision.
meanwhile, the early gold graph, I mean, it's only 6 minutes in, but it already speaks a lot. Just a huge goal advantage to TongFu, better laning, and more kills on their side. Or, sorry, to Mith-Trust, as looks like Gondar is going to come in for a gank on a bot. Can he get any sort of stuns? No, it looks like Mu was not in position, was slowed down, telekinesed away, and Sansheng just wasted a little bit more time, allowing Londru to farm up. So, how do you think TongFu could come back in this? Should they decide to roam the CK a bit more? Should they try to get more levels on their supports, which I'm always a big fan of doing, but it might not work out. As it looks like Gondar is going to find in the middle of the jungle the Lone Druid Bear doing a nice job microing, but track is on the Lone Druid, and he will get the last hit. Nicely done. He did get entangled at the last second, but Sansheng should be able to escape. Yep, the tower just like, nope, do not want to attack you anymore, bro. So 1-6 in favor of Mith-Trust. But what do you think TongFu should do? Should they just stick to their game plan of chasing in the mid game, or should they decide to be a bit more aggressive in the laning phase?
Well, I don't think they can be aggressive in the laning phase of bot anymore. That lane has pretty much been lost. One option that they have is, because the CK is not getting anything anyway, what they have the option of doing is abandoning CK, sending out Veno and SD to roam the map and try to kill Rubik and Syllabear, simply because those are 2 targets that you are going to be able to bring down. But honestly, the really one thing that they're going to have working for them is track gold. If he can get that train of tracks up and just get that track train going, they'll be able to come back very quickly and very fast. You can snowball out of control incredibly fast when you have a bounty hunter on the field. So honestly, if they're going to come back, it's going to be based around track gold.
Yeah, Bounty Hunter is one of those heroes who can just say, alright, regardless of how miserable we're doing in the early game, we can always come back in the mid game just because of how much gold track gives you. That's definitely a good point that you brought up. Thaw, of course, did die to that Bounty Hunter, so a little bit unfortunate for Mith-Trust, and as he gets tracked, he picked up phase boots on his bear, no boots for his hero bear, so once he picks up that, expect him to start marching towards that relic, but still, it's been a bit more delayed than he would have liked. He will probably pick it around the 20 mark, assuming he does not get ganked anymore. As looks like Entangle goes on Sansheng, he manages to windwalk away at the last second. Unfortunate for Sansheng, no mana, so he's going to have to back off or get a lucky rune. So, looks like TongFu, they just contend to play a bit passively, not really too sure if this is the right choice, because Mirana is also one of those heroes. She faded out for a while just because she doesn't handle against pushes, but if you just leave her to farm, she'll be A-okay.
Yeah, I mean, the way Potom works, at least the way I understand she works, is that she's sort of decent in all stages of the game. She's not amazing at anything, but if you give items on top of the fact that she's already decent, she becomes very strong at all stages of the game. And she's definitely got items. I mean, she's farmed almost 900 gold and phase boots and Aquila. She's gonna hurt. And they don't really have necessarily any AoE to really burst her down. If they want to take her down, they're gonna have to use a ton of single target stuns on, or well, single target disables on her. So it kind of lets SK and Lesh do whatever they want.
Meanwhile, the wards are not up for TongFu. Unfortunately for them, that's one of the hallmarks of their play. No wards being up for TongFu. They're just being suffocated right now, so they have no knowledge of any incoming gank. But fortunately, Rubik is just content to stay in the lane. Venom Scale being dropped on TNK. He's going to go for the Burrow Strike on 2 heroes once again. How going to be stunned by the arrow? Can he get the Starstorm? Yes, he does. Nicely done. Leshak going to be in a bit of trouble from the Gondar, but looks like Diabolic Edict just doing a huge amount of damage. Sal being popped. Can he escape? Nice blocking, and looks like they get another stun on Awoke. Leshak will fall, but he manages to cast one more Split Earth. It does whiff, and 1 for 1 in that engagement. The Sand King has to back up, but Panda's coming in. He has the ultimate, and looks like Mirana is going to take the fall as well. Cast a Starfall again, and looks like Sand King unfortunately stayed around a little bit too long, and he might take the fall as well. Yes, track is going to be on easy kill for the TongFu side, so nice job by Gondar and Panda to say, okay, 3 heroes on your bot lane, we'll just switch and just try to get that bot lane a little bit more in advantage. But all the while, Syllabear is pushing on that top lane. But still, a nice response by TongFu saying, alright, we're not going to take this lying down.
Something that I really like from the Bounty Hunter, from a decision that he made, is the fact that he maxed Shriek and Toss over Janata and the Shadow Walk. What a lot of laning Gondars like to do is only get 1 or 2 points in Shriek and Toss and max Janata and Shadow Walk, just because it's a lot more powerful in lane and you haven't got the mana to sustain Shrieking. However, I think he knew that his bottom lane was going to need a lot of help, and so when he TP's down there, the Janata and Shadow Walk isn't going to be as useful in that, early 3v4, 4v4, but having the high points in Shrieking really let him get those kills, and it really let them, kind of turn that fight around just because he has a high nuke as opposed to might not having one. So I really like that decision, and I think that's part of the reason that fight went that way.
Meanwhile, just looking at overall the levels, of course, Mith-Trust still has a significant level advantage. Gondar's managed to hit level 8, Lone Druid level 9. Arcane Boots picked up by Rubik, so Rubik's just playing very, very safe, not ganking whatsoever, so he's going to have a grand old time in this game. Sand King level 5, Leshrac level 5 as well. And Weird 2 supports are hit level 5 this early on. It's going to look pretty good as Fable. It's going to be casted, and yep, no engagement's going to be set out. Kabu might be a little bit of trouble. Moo gets Thunderclap off on Abba. Chaos Bolt coming in. Reality Rift, and looks like Abba might be the first one to die. Yes, the Bullet Tusk will come in. Hal picks up the next kill. Split Earth and Sand King managed to kill Kabu in return. Cyclone in the air on the Leshrac. Can they get it? Yes, they will. Venomet's in position. Unfortunately, gets a little bit juked, but should still die nonetheless. Magic Wand being popped, and no, looks like Uno, who might be able to survive. No, Chaos Bolt comes in. Thunderclap cleans it up, and this is TongFu's game plan. As long as he play chaotic chasing or into teamfights, they will have the advantage. TNK trying to get in position for a stun. No, looks like there will not be any returning stun, and here comes the Gondar.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the way TongFu managed to play that fight. Their positioning was almost perfect. I think they only lost one person and they killed 2 and forced a buyback, so they definitely won that engage. They won the last engage, and right now they're on path. I'm not sure that the game's exactly even yet, but they've made it much more even.
That's definitely the case. So you see Lone Druid, rather than picking up a second pair of boots, picks up Midas, so he's going to just eschew the Relic for a little bit, just going for all-out late game. And that's okay as long as they keep their towers up, but still, TongFu prides themselves on their chasing abilities, so Midas, this late in the game, he picked it up at 11 minutes, so it won't be pretty economically efficient until around the 30-minute mark. So what do you think about this Midas choice by the Lone Druid? I'd rather pick up an earlier Sacred Relic just so it can be bulldozing towers much earlier on, since they have the advantage already.
I mean, my position on Midas on Syllabear is that if you must get it, I really do think that you should have rushed it. And I think that he could have gotten away with rushing against the Bounty Hunter simply because he wasn't under that much stress or harass. I would also like to see a faster Relic, but the attack speed isn't necessarily going to hurt. It's not a horrible choice, but I think it could have been better.
Well, we saw mid lane gank Reality Rift into track, so getting a lot of gold on the Rubik, but meanwhile, the bottom lane got a pick off kill on the Shelly, and more importantly, Mith-Trust picking up an early tower, so that's going to help the Silver farm up a faster relic. Already 1k gold additionally in the bank, but How is starting to become a little bit of a problem. Chaos Knight just becoming pretty tanky. Let's see if he can get some early ganks off from the Silver, because this Silver, if he's left alone to his own devices, he'll become a huge problem. Gondar always keeping an eye on him, and Gondar does not have too much mana to work with, but looks like TongFu are just, a reinforcing teleport, gonna scout out the Rubik player, and Gondar's gonna be able to escape A-OK. No, he's just gonna stick around for a bit.
Yeah, get that farm up. I'm curious to see whether he rushes a Django, or that would be Drum of Endurance, or goes for phasers, or the power trades, all of which are very viable choices on him, so.
Yep, meanwhile, despite TongFu coming back, you see the tower gold starting to make a difference. Looks like SK advantage in favor of TongFu. Looks like Sanchin gets a stun. Split Earth, Diabolic Edict just doing huge amounts of damage. Magic Wand is popped, but it looks like Leshrac doing a nice job blocking. And unfortunately, even with the track movement speed, Leshrac blocked long enough. Looks like Chaos Knight is going to come in with the Reality Rift and the Chaos Bolt. Panda picks up a very early Blink Dagger, did not see that. And he kills Leshrac very, very easily. Sand King going to be in a lot of trouble as well. Silver is just going to have to back the heck away. Cannot save the Sand King. Disruption just to stall Sand King for a bit longer, and that's going to be in that engagement. So 2 for 1. They kill the Gondar, but I think trading a support Sand King and support Leshrac in exchange for the chasing power of Gondar might be okay in this situation.
It's not a horrible trade. I think they got 1 track kill off of that, which is always going to be nice. But whereas both of those, the SK and Leshrac are supports, Bounty Hunter is the carry, like you said. So.
Yep, arrow's gonna fly in. Will it land? Oh, barely whiffs on Kabu. Really, really fortunate on, unfortunate for the TLK. He has 74 CS. You can see 82 CS on the Lone Druid, 66 on Labat. Meanwhile, you can see TongFu uncharacteristically not farming well at all. No heroes above 50 CS. Meanwhile, Sand King struggling a lot. No, not close to his dagger, but hey, if his Lone Druid and his Moran pick up the slack, then they should be fine without a daggerless Sand King for quite a while. Meanwhile, will they be engaged on the bottom lane? No, but more importantly, Panda picks up that Blink Dagger and he still has the ultimate. So if TongFu want to go for a mid-game teamfight, they definitely have the tank ability and the initiation to go for it. So how do you think they should approach this next couple minutes?
Well, right now, I think TongFu has the advantage. Obviously, the gold graph isn't in their favor, but Potom decided to eschew getting a damage item and has a perseverance, so she's not that strong. Silver hasn't got a lot of stuff, so both of those heroes aren't going to be that useful right now. Whereas we have 5 useful heroes on TongFu. And yup, it looks like they're going out for a smoke gank, so they're trying to press their advantage. Right now they have the dagger, they have the Panda's ultimate. This is when they need to fight, and they should be able to take some tier 1s off of this next couple of minutes if they play it right.
Yeah, it's really crucial for them to pick up a tier 1 tower as soon as possible. They really need some goal advantage. Panda blinks in with the Thunderclap. Track going to be casted just barely in the nick of time. Chaos Bolt and the Vehemence Gale easily picks off a bot. There's going to be a teleport in. It's pretty aggressive. Sand King just teleports in Sandstorms, just saying, come at me, bro. And of course, TongFu just running away. They're scared of that Sand King, man. Looks like there might be engagement on the top lane. Teleports in to try to catch the Lone Druid. Will they be able to escape? No, nice micro by the Lone Druid player, ushering away the opposing team. He'll be able to escape for now. Just checking out his gold. 2,600 gold in the bank, so should still be able to pick up around a 20-minute relic. And I say, as long as they pick up around 22, 23 minutes, Silver should still be able to pick up two towers relatively easily. And what happened in that mid lane?
It was just a SK Burrow strike into Leshrac combo. Fairly standard. Venom pushed up too far.
The BFFs, Sand King and Leshrac working together.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, those BFFs, man. Best friends forever. As Chaos Knight has a Bracer Strength Threads, not much farm, as I noted earlier. TongFu just not farming very well. But they have a lot of initiation. Chaos Bolt and Reality Rift blinks in. TongFu Mu gonna split it into 3. Gets a stun off on Uno Hu, and looks like Uno Hu managed to cast a Split Earth. Will he be able to survive? Not killing Leshrac might be a bit of a mistake. And Uno Hu is escaping. No, TongFu Mao managed to pick him off at the last hit, or how, sorry. As the Panda's still on a rampage. Kabu gets stunned. TNK gonna pick off Kabu, or LK the Mirana, as the Panda split just doing a huge amount of damage. It looks like Rubik stole the Primal Split, nicely done, and Mirana picks up a double kill, and stealing your Primal Split, that's gotta hurt if you're TongFu, my god.
Just adding insult to injury at that point. It looks like they're going to go for Roshan off of that, which is a great decision. They can't be stopped at this point, so they're going to take down Roshan around the 17-18 minute mark. It's pretty early Roshan, and with that they should be able to take the tier 1 tower mid, which is probably one of the most important towers for them to be able to take right now.
That's definitely the case, and also very important is that TongFu have not taken any towers for themselves, so they're really suffering in terms of map control. Only one river ward being placed up for them. So their warding is also suffering, so their chasing up not working as well as expected, as unfortunately Venomancer only level 9, so he's not hitting that crucial level of it. Does have max Plague Ward, so he can delay the push. But of course Edict doesn't care about Plague Wards, can just mow through your tower regardless. And of course once Bear gets enough armor and that Radiance, which he's pretty close to doing, he should be fine. Only 400 gold from finishing that relic. So he's looking very, very strong. And now I think it's safe to say that Mith-Trust has the advantage, especially with that Rubik Primal Split. Really, really throwing TongFu for a loop.
Oh, absolutely. And something that I think is pretty interesting is that Potom is going for Linken's this game. That's Priestess of the Moon or Mirana. She's going for Linken's, which a lot of the time means that your damage is going to be up too late. Oh, we haven't engaged. No, he's just harassing.
Just the buzzkill. The ultimate juke, you'll learn that as a caster. No worries, man. Yep. Will Rubik go for Blink Dagger, as we see other European Rubiks do? Loda especially likes the Blink Dagger. No, it looks like he's just going to play it safe. But anyway, I interrupted you. What was your point?
Oh, yeah. The fact that they're able to chase so well, TongFu that is, means that they should be able to nail down the Mirana unless she has a Linken. So, you know, she might be able to dodge the Chaos Bolt, dodge the track, dodge whatever. And it means that she'll be impossible to nail down, incredibly hard to kill, and she's got the Aegis. Really, she just made herself a lot more difficult to kill with this, and the fact that their team deals a lot of damage otherwise means it's okay to skip getting damage. So all in all, I think that she's going to be a little bit stronger late game because of it.
So, yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. Linkets here, of course, will be really useful against Chaos Ball, against Disruption, against Demonic Purge, and all of those as well. Meanwhile, you can see Experience Craft, almost 7k advantage of Mith-Trust, and over 7.5k of a gold advantage, and Gondar has just not been too effective with that track, and of course Midas, all the while giving Silver more and more damage, picks up the Relic as well, and it might be time for Mith-Trust, once he picks up the reins, just to go for a siege. You never want to leave a team like TongFu any moment's notice to breathe, especially with a very, very powerful, aggressive mid-game lineup. So, but, I mean, Mith-Trust, they definitely have the option to turtle if they want. So, how do you think Mith-Trust should play this once they pick up the Radiance?
I think what's likely is going to happen is they're going to take out all the tier 2s on the map, let Potom get a damage item up, and then try for tier 3. And if by that point, if the Aegis is up again, they'll probably be able to take Roshan off of those towers and then push him for the win. That's assuming perfect play from them, though. Of course, TongFu might not want it to play out that way. They might have some tricks up their sleeve.
Well, if it's up to TongFu, then of course they'd want to wipe every single team fight. But unfortunately, that might not happen in this situation. Lone Druid playing it very safe. I always say, once you get before that 3,800 gold, that's not the difficult part. The difficult part is farming that last 1k gold, because as long as you don't pick up the relic within the first 21, 22 minutes, then okay, you still have the option to switch other items. You have a lot of gold in your bank otherwise. Once you pick up the relic, you pretty much cemented yourself in the fact that, okay, I'm going to have to finish the Radiance. So that last 1k gold is so difficult, at least for me, to farm up. And nice job by THA, as he's just going to farm up in the jungle very safely, leave his team to defend the middle towers. They have a huge gold advantage, and TongFu might be able to take this with relative ease. Rubik stole another spell. Did not have the Primal Split, unfortunately. So it looks like a free tower for TongFu. And Mith-Trust are pretty happy to acquiesce, trading farm for a tower. And I think they can do that at this point in the game.
Yeah, I think it's a decent trade trying to get that Radiance up on the Syllabear. I mean, when you show yourself with the Relic on the bear and you show yourself in lane or whatever, you're basically painting a target on your face saying, come kill me, guys, I almost have a huge item. So the fact that they're letting him get the Radiance is kind of big. It looks like Pandas is going to go in, though. Potom's going to ult immediately. Tracks on Leshrac. They're going to take him down. Looks like Rubik's tornadoed up into the air. Chaos Knight splits. Rubik's going to go down. He's tracked. No, he's going to get away. Venomancer ult flies out. Rubik's gonna get slammed by the Chaos Bolt, and I think that that's gonna be everything.
Yeah, they focus down Leshrac and Rubik, but Moran is going to leap in. Can they get the kill on Kabut? No, Moo's going to retreat as well. Nice disruption by Kabut, escaping. And now TLK going to be in a lot of trouble. Will Silbear rush back in once he picks up the Radiance? No, looks like he's just going to stick around. He has the Radiance, so now TongFu, of course, did not realize that, but they're going to back off right now. And they see that Leshrac and Rubik are close to respawning. So Tier 1 tower being picked off by TongFu, and they also picked off the tier 2 as well. Did not even notice that until the last. So nice recovery by TongFu, but now they have to worry about that ever so imposing bear. With the hand of Mice just going to be boosting his gold by an incredible amount. And Marana, of course, still surviving, has the Linking Sphere, 2100 gold in the bank, so it's going to be pretty difficult for TongFu to take an as easy of a team fight as they just did.
Absolutely, and TongFu at this point doesn't really have any major items up. We see the standard Chinese double drum. They love that item so much. Bounty Hunter's got and Chaos Knight's got one. They consider it absolutely core in both of those heroes. But Chaos Knight's got some gold in the bank. He's got 2,500 gold. Trax obviously helped out with that, and I think that he's going to go for Heart or Pipe. Oh no, wow, I was completely wrong. He's going for BKB. But once he has the BKB up, he'll be able to actually isolate either the Sand King or the Leshrac or one of the big damage dealers who isn't that easy, doesn't find living that easy, and take them out. So it'll help him out a lot once he has that item finished.
You know, Sand King, despite all my worrying, has picked up a Blink Dagger and is level 11, so you cannot underestimate his impact in a team fight. And Venomancer and Bounty Hunter will find it quite hard to deal with, as well as the Shadow Demon. And keep in mind, Sand King's ultimate, the slow goes through BKB and Tangle goes through BKB, but that's pretty much it. So once Chaos Knight picks up the BKB, as long as he saves the split, he should be a-okay for surviving a lot of the magical damage. But now Palm's going to become a bigger and bigger factor. Picks up the Yasha, and she's going to be pumping out a lot of DPS with TongFu. Knowing that their window is starting to run out, they're going to start to push on that tier 1 tower. We're going to see a massive amount of teleports just to defend that. Will Mith-Trust take this line down? No, they will not. The bear is resummoned, pretty low HP. But Ring of Basilisk is going to go for that Vlad. Looks like the Chaos Knight is going to siege this tower for a bit of damage, and the bear is going to be sent out. Here comes Sand King with the Blink Dagger. Epicenter going to do a lot of damage to Hao, but Hao still over half HP. Thunderclap being dropped as well. Fade Bolt being dropped, and looks like Hao might be the first one to fall. Really unfortunate for the CK to die first one off the bat. And now Syllabear and the Mith-Trust Lamp are going to chase in. They get the dust off on the Gondor. One more hit. Blink Dagger Sand King with the Burrow Strike. Just doing a huge amount of damage. Panda comes back in for the reinforcement. And looks like he gets off his ultimate, and unfortunately for TongFu, Moonlight Shadow just proving to be a huge nuisance in these engagements. Looks like Kambu might be the next one to fall, and TongFu is being mopped up at the moment. Not expected. This Moonlight Shadow just doing so much work, something we do not see very often, and looks like Moon might just be able to escape, but Moonlight Shadow just doing so much work, man. Holy crap.
Yeah, and something that was really important in that fight was the Lincolns on Potom. She would have been completely out of the first part of the fight if she didn't have Lincolns, and she wasn't. She was able to deal a lot of damage, and then she dodged the Panda's rock. and she was able to live off that. So really, the Lincolns helped her out a lot that fight, and basically Mith-Trust had too much damage. They couldn't deal with it.
Yeah, and keep in mind how important that Sand King dagger was. Mith-Trust, or TongFu rather, they love those chasing team fights. They thrive in it. Panda, of course, having max moves with pandas, except for the Earth, and just running all over the place with the Chaos Knight. But Chaos Knight was the first one to die. Sand King was able to chase with the Blink Dagger Burrow Strike just so effectively. So that Sand King just proving his worth, making the Blink Dagger worth its weight in gold, just proving to be such a huge factor in this game. And now TongFu or Mith-Trust pick up immediate 2 towers, and they're looking in tip-top shape. Aegis should be respawning in about 2 minutes, or rather 3 minutes. So TongFu, they're gonna have to be really, really careful. And I don't think Mith-Trust will allow them to go smoke ganks, as looks like Janata and unfortunately Track was not cast on the Mirage to dispel the Lincolns, but she was able to escape anyway. But right now, TongFu looking in dire straits, and you can see, oh man, almost a 15k gold advantage for the for the Mith-Trust side. So they're looking really, really strong.
Yeah, I mean, for a team fight to happen to turn around, that's going to be really good. Moo's going to have to turn on God mode on Pandas and just CC everything. You know, if he can break the Blink Dagger or channel on SK, isolate the Leshrac, and get rid of those 2 guys instantly, then the team fight will look a lot easier. So at this point, I think it's mostly going to be on Panda's back to try to get back into this game.
Unfortunately, look at Mith-Trust, what they're picking up. Ghost Scepters on Rubik and Leshrac. It'll be really difficult for the range to just pin down anybody. They don't have too many nukes at all. And of course, heroes like Panda with the ultimate CK and Gondar just thrive on the physical right hits, but Ghost Scepter is being picked up by the Mith-Trust side. It's going to be really difficult to say how they'll come back, or TongFu will come back in this game. I don't really see too much of a way, but anything is possible, especially in Chinese Dota. And TongFu's definitely showed that they have the composure and the makings of a top-tier team. They've looked so strong, so I definitely will not count them out in this game. But yeah, Ghost Scepter, it's going to be really difficult to counter those.
Oh, yeah, and absolutely. And Bottoms, if she chooses to go for Manta, she has it at this point, which is going to make it even easier to assault the tier 3. Probably what's going to happen is she's going to get that Manta up, and then they're going to, you know, you can use the images to push, you can use the Bear to push, and you can use Edict to push. All of which is sort of ranged pushing. It's at no risk to yourself. So it'll be a lot easier to take down those tier 3s without getting engaged on. Or at least without getting engaged on in a negative way.
That's definitely the case, of course. They don't want to give TongFu any sort of openings. The Hyperstone was picked up by the Bear. Roshan's respawning in about 20 seconds. So it looks like Mith-Trust, they know that the timer is there. They're going to be able to get in position and try to take this next Roshan team fight. Meanwhile, TongFu knows that this is the crucial team fight. They need to win this or they will be out of this game. And it won't really help their chances in terms of momentum going into the National 2 if they fall to a team like Mith-Trust, who has just not been looking very sharp at all. But still, I expect a great team fight to break out very, very soon. Silbear a little bit below half HP, so pretty unfortunate, or a little bit above half HP, as Leshrac has Ghost Scepter, like I said, Rubik Ghost Scepter as well. Mirana has not picked up the Manta style just yet, as the Bear just scouting everything out, being so annoying. Disabling the Panda Blink Dagger. Will they initiate on the Panda? Nope, Mirana just going to do some physical right hits. And nope, Mirana pressing forward very bravely. Burrow Strike up on the Gondar. TNK is going to get a lot of stun. Looks like Primal Split is going to be casted. Disruption saving Sansheng for a lot of the time. TNK is going to be the first one to die. Unfortunately, did not manage to channel off the Epicenter. Meanwhile, Hao managed to teleport in with the Phantasm, but is fortunately forced to run away immediately. Mirana blinks away, and Lincoln Sphere canceled that Reality Rift. They kill the Bear. Will the Bear be resummoned? No, looks like the Bear is on cooldown, and that might be huge. Looks like Mith-Trust might take the fall, and the Lone Druid is going to have to retreat. So a huge team fight being taken by TongFu, and Track is going to cast on Leshrac, but still, very unfortunate team fight by Mith-Trust, and this might give TongFu an opening. They're going to get the Roshan.
And what happened in that fight was exactly what I said. The Pandas CC'd the SK. He didn't get his ult off, which is a huge amount of the damage. And then I think he took out the Rubik, too, which is another huge team fight presence. And with those 2 heroes gone, they were able to take the team fight. Also, another big thing in that fight was that, oh, Arrow flies in. Doesn't look like it's going to do anything. I doubt that he'll try to steal it. That'd be really ballsy. But, oh, no, he's going to. He's moving into the Roshan pit, but he's not going to get it. And looks like he's able to escape fine.
Yeah, Panda was on his ass for a bit, but Mirana escaped just in the nick of time. Panda picks up Vlad's going to give them team a nice aura, but unfortunately all their lanes are being pushed in. So only 2 towers have been taken by TongFu, And just to follow back to that team fight, Sand King blinked in for the initiation with a Burrow Strike on the Gondar, but nice disruption managed to save him. So a little bit of misplay by Sand King. They would have been able to take the Roshan in the team fight much easier, and Panda was just free to go all crazy. But now Panda Ultimate, of course, is going to become more and more ineffective as time goes on, just because Hero's HP pools will grow larger and can start to kill the Pandas, especially since Lone Druid is very close to finishing his AC.
Yeah, and it looks like CK is gonna have his BKB on top of that. So
Oh, that's dangerous.
all of a sudden, he doesn't have to worry about 3 of the enemy heroes. He's just got to focus on the Soul Bear and Potom for the most part.
And you can see after a 17k gold at disadvantage, TongFu managed to climb up in 5k, especially thanks to that Roshan. So Mith-Trust, what would they do? Decide to play patiently? Will they decide to play a bit more aggressively? I think they can afford to play patiently, but still, they're going to have to be very, very careful on their watch. And Sand King's going to have to save his Blink and his Epicenter, because that Epicenter just does a huge amount of damage to heroes like Shadow Demon, Gondar, and the Venomancer. Let's see what Gondar has. Has the drums, gonna go for BKB himself. And if Gondar picks up this BKB, Sand King will become more and more ineffective. So eliminating a lot of magical damage will just be so important. And will they initiate on the Mirana? No. Looks like Panda wants to get the Blink Clap in, but Mirana is just too speedy with those phase boots. No. Mantis Style and Split. And I think Mirana will be able to escape.
Yeah, it's just very hard to nail down.
That she is. But meanwhile, fortunately for TongFu, all the heroes are migrating to that top tier 1 tower. They want it. I think Mith-Trust will be content to give it up because it's below half HP. Not really worth defending. And that top tower, not really important in terms of map control, but no, Mith-Trust do not want to give this up. And maybe that might be a mind game that TongFu will not suspect. But no, I think they might have seen the TP. No, they did not. So Mith-Trust gonna have to defend this with their lives. AC not finished on the Lone Druid, but he's gonna be the first one to rush in. Gonna cancel out daggers. Epicenter being channeled on the Venomancer. Can he kill him before to get the ultimate off? Yes, he does. Split is casted, but the Venomancer potential damage being reduced by a huge amount. Track not casted. Moonlight Shadow doing more work once again. Rubik Fade Ball being casted. It looks like Chaos Knight just hitting the tower because he cannot see anything. Very, very unfortunate. Silver Bear is sucked in, as looks like Leshrak was the next one to fall, but Shadow Demon died in exchange. Nice job by Mirana, and now Pan is caught between a rock and a hard place, as looks like Gondar gets dusted. He will be the next one to fall. One more hit by Mirana picks up the kill on Gondar. Mith-Trust looking very, very dominant. This Moonlight Shadow, one of the most underestimated ultimates in the game, but it's just proving to be such a difficult factor for TongFu to deal with. I'm surprised they haven't picked up Dust.
I don't know what they're thinking, but really, they're getting destroyed by Moonlight Shadow in team fights. If you can't see anything, you can't hit it.
I know, man.
Simple.
Like Chaos Knight
I think they're trying to over-rely on Track, and he's just not getting him off.
Yeah, Chaos Knight cast the BKB and hit the tower. Like, he couldn't do anything else. Very unfortunate. Now, Blink Dagger sinking with the Rubik blinking in as well. Chaos Knight taking a boatload of damage. Will be able to escape out of mana, so he cannot even stop. Mirana gonna come in. Looks like Chaos Knight loses Aegis, but Panda blinks back in. Unfortunately, his ultimate is on cooldown. Rubik is doing a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Mirana just doing so much work. And this is Power Mirana in the late game, as Telekinesis is gonna be dropped on the Panda. Mirana picks up a wicked sick, just adding to her gold by a huge amount. Lone Druid pushing the top lane all the while. It looks like Lone Druid will be the next one to fall. Will they be able to kill the Chaos Knight? Looks like Lone Druid might be able to escape a couple more hits by the Chaos Knight. Venomancer's ultimate. And Lone Druid does die, but meanwhile Chaos Knight did take the fall. And looks like Mirana taking a lot of damage as well. Just such a chaotic amount of team fights. TongFu gonna be able to recover and gonna be able to hold off, but all the while Lone Druid did take those racks while I was discussing that. So still a nice victory by Mith-Trust. Did not even notice Lone Druid was taking those racks. I thought he was just attacking the tower.
No, that's the power of split push. You force an engage in one place, and you can have Lone Druid take a tower in about 10 seconds in another. So, TongFu got more kills that fight, but I would say that Mith-Trust won it. Simply because they have the tower now, or the racks.
And they killed the Chaos Knight and his Aegis, so now the next Roshan, it's looking more and more favorable for the Mith-Trust side, just because I have a lot of map control. And still, 3 towers up for Mith-Trust, so they're looking really, really strong. But TongFu, they do have the BKB up on the Gondar. He used it once, but still, if they get a bit more damage, but the problem is, heroes like Venomancer, who just couldn't get his ultimate off in that initial team fight on this top lane, and heroes like Shadow Demon just becoming more and more ineffective, and heroes like Panda. Panda, I do not think scales very well into the late game at all.
No, Pandas does tend to fall off. Even if you have the Ag Scepter, it just means that you fall off later. And he doesn't have the Ag Scepter yet, which means without it, you tend to fall off at around the 30, 35-minute mark is when your ult stops to be quite as effective. And that's exactly where he is. I'd say the Ags extends it closer to about 40 minutes, maybe 45, but he hasn't got that. So he's working towards it. He's going to have it in 1.5K, but I don't know if that's going to be soon enough to protect his middle racks or bottom racks should Mith-Trust choose to go for that one.
Yep, looks like Mith-Trust is going to just deward a bit. They do have a gem up on the Rubik along with the Ghost Scepter and the Blink Dagger. This Rubik only 1 HP, but really difficult to control as it looks like Hao and Gondor are going to be initiated. Will they get a double kill? This would be huge. Hao is the first one to fall. Gondor is forced to retreat. Will he be able to escape? No moving speed items besides that. Drum Endurance BKB is popped, but will they be able to escape the Gondar? Yes, Primal Swift being casted by the Panda, but none of his teammates are there to back him up, and Moonlight Chao is just trolling all over the face of TongFu. Moonlight Chao just being so useful. Panda not going to have his ultimate in this next team fight. This might be a critical error by TongFu, and it might just cost him the game.
Yeah, I don't know about the decision to try to protect Gondar, but maybe if they let him die, they wouldn't be able to defend the rack, so I guess they were forced into fight just by being in an unfavorable position. But Panda blinking in, really, I don't know about that.
Yeah, definitely, in my honest opinion, a bit of a misplay, but still they're at a disadvantage nonetheless. Lone Druid has picked up the AC, just doing boatloads of damage to that tower. Looks like Mith-Trust is going to try to kill Kabu. Yes, they will be able to burst him down with the Leshrac, and Leshrac with doing a lot of damage to Ghost Scepter. But meanwhile, it's all about the Silver and the Mirana pressure, just working over TongFu, and this was not the outcome we expected from a Mith-Trust and TongFu matchup. And TongFu, I think, beat Mith-Trust in the International 2 qualifiers, but they're looking oh so strong. How managed to revive? Can they kill the Mirana? Will they enter a streak? Yes, they will be able to kill her, but it might be a bit of a Pyrrhic victory as Lone Druid is just going to sacrifice himself for the Rax. Can they kill him? No, the Rax will be able to survive. Lone Druid just so tanky. Epicenter being challenged for a huge amount of damage. Sancheng pops BKB. Looks like a bot is in over his head, going to cast a Ghost Scepter. Can he blink out? Shuriken and Reality Rip just canceling that. Looks like Sand King might be in a bit of trouble. No dust still. Very, very puzzling. No, looks like Gem was picked up by the Chaos Knight, and they can see the Sand King now. Mirana buys back, just doing a huge amount of damage, and looks like Leshrac will be able to stun the Chaos Knight. Can they kill the Chaos Knight? A couple more hits? No. And now the Drunken Haze being casted, but she just splits to debuff that. And Mirana did buy back. If she dies, this might be a bit of a misplay by Mith-Trust. If she dies, this might give Mith-Trust a bit of a... Looks like Lone Druid did revive and is going to get back in this team fight. Just endless team fight going on. Epicenter and the Barrel Strike just doing huge amount of damage. Kabut is the next one to fall. Panda is going to be in a lot of trouble. Primal Split is on cooldown. And I think with those 3 heroes dead, I do not see TongFu winning this team fight, especially if Sancheng dies very, very low HP. Barrel Strike by the Sand King with the gem. Cleans it up. Bounty Hunter buys back, but it might be all for naught. Wow, what a crazy ending to this game. But I do think it is the end.
Great ending to it. Just an all out back and forth melee. I mean, how often do you see that, 5v5 fights with buybacks outside the base near the middle of the map when there are racks down? It's fairly rare, so it's good to see.
Yeah, no towers either, so they had to travel a bit of a distance as well. So, yeah, yes, TongFu are going to take the fall in this first game. Or I think this was the second game, I'm not too sure. But I think ItsGosu Monthly Madness runs a 2-game format, best of 2. So TongFu did take the fall in this game, so yeah. GG is called by the TongFu squad. Nice job in Mith-Trust, really taking it to TongFu, countering their chasing heavy lineup. And this is why we don't see chasing as much in Dota 2, just because it's not really that effective anymore these days. But maybe heroes like teams like TongFu and DK and IG will find a way to bring it back.
Chasing's great and all, but right now the metagame, at least in Dota 2, seems to be more revolved around taking towers. So again, I'm just really excited for the International to see how this clashing of metagames from Southeast Asia and China and North America and Europe all meshes together. And I want to see which kind of metagame wins, so I'm really excited for that.
Oh, definitely. Really looking forward to that. And as TongFu Mu takes the fall, the towers are dying slowly but surely. So yeah, what a game. 34-25. 59 kills in 38 minutes. What a game. And Mith-Trust just looked pretty much in complete control. They had a couple of slip-ups nonetheless, but still they looked really, really dominant in that game. And unfortunately, they're not invited to International 2, but they're definitely going to give teams a run for the money in this ItsGosu Monthly Madness. And just to bring you the result, I do not think we'll bring you the first or the second game of this series. So TongFu did take the first game from Mith-Trust. So I think the series evened out 1-1. But yeah, nice game as you see poor Kabu ends 0-12 with the shutout. So yeah, what'd you think of that game, man?
Oh, I liked it. All in all, it was really aggressive, much more so than you normally see from Asian teams. So it was nice to watch. It was very exciting to cast my first game.
Awesome. Looking forward to it, and hopefully leave Shredkid some constructive criticism in the commentaries. You will definitely be back in the near future. So as always, thank you all for watching, and have a fantastic day.